We formed the Dull Men's Club a while back. We got tired of reading and hearing so much about people always striving for the glitz and glam, always trying to get a fancier car, a bigger house, travel to more exotic places. They go to Las Vegas and come back and say, hey, I heard Neil Diamond, big deal. Dull Men's Club is a place in cyberspace where dull men can hang out and share their experiences with fellow dull men. A place they can hide out, get away from the glitz and glam, the hurly-burly, all the noise of modern life, the pressures to keep up with the Joneses. I don't know who the Joneses are anyway. Do you? There's one gentleman we really admire here in the UK. It's Kevin Beresford. Kevin founded the Roundabout Appreciation Society and is very active with it to this day.
The minute I rolled up to this roundabout, this whole setting just greets you. It's so quintessentially English in its appearance. It's a listed duck pond actually on a roundabout. I parked the car over the road there and I went and sat in the pub, and the landlord and I started discussing this roundabout. And I kept glancing over and he actually opened up the pub early for me, but the door was locked and I was just itching to get through this door. And so I thought, I'd better be polite and buy a shandy. My fingers was itching to take some shots straight away. But when I rolled up at this roundabout, it's the first thing that strikes you as you enter this beautiful village of Oxford. And I got a tingle of excitement as soon as I saw this roundabout and saw that there was a duck pond. I've never seen a duck pond on a roundabout. I've travelled from John O'Groats to Land's End. I thought I'd seen everything. Some people go for picturesque roundabouts, like the one I'm sitting on. We call those Titchmarshes, which is an island in full bloom. But other people, the functionalists in our society, they might go for the Magic Roundabout in Swindon, which we class as the white knuckle ride of all roundabouts. It's a proper maelstrom of motordom, it really is. Our society go on day trips there and spend the day just going round and round. There's the Dorking Cockerel. I think they lift our sagging spirits on long, tiresome journeys. Unlike robotic fascist traffic lights which tell us when to go, when to stop. How many times have you been on a set of traffic lights and there's nothing coming, but you're just standing there, just burning up petrol? I think the beauty of roundabout spotting, it's such a sedate hobby. You can take time and reflect on life. It's got a certain zen quality to it. If you suffer from, say, heart problems or nerves, it's the perfect way of spending a day.
Time is wonderful. Time is what keeps everything from happening all at once. I'm in London now at a wonderful park bench here in Cleveland Square. But Cleveland Square is not really a square. It's actually a trapezoid. A lot of the squares in London are not squares. Cadogan Square is a rectangle. Grosvenor Square is not a square, it's an oval. I think there really should be a renaming of these squares in London. We have a Dull Men of the Year listing every year. One of the nominees last year was Peter Willis, a retired postman living in Malvern in Worcestershire.
I like this spot, enjoy it, very quiet. You get 2 boxes for the price of 1. Wonderful box, absolutely lovely, love it. 160 years old, but a rubbish plate, and when it was put on crooked. The hobby has become a photographic challenge. I don't think I could ever photograph them all. There are 115,000 take or give. I think I've probably done about 2,500. The box itself can be a pretty and attractive item to me. The older, the more rugged and the more use they've had, the better. So 6 layers of paint visible is an attraction to me. And also, of course, the location. If the location of where you are is an attractive spot, then again it adds to the whole experience. My wife of just over 41 or 42 years is very, very supportive of what I do as we go around the country following our favourite musical. One of the advantages of that is, of course, invariably there is a post box near the hotel, and they come in all shapes and sizes. In Stoke some years ago, 3 boxes right outside the front door. Brilliant. You get the odd funny look, no doubt. One of the benefits of joining the Letterbox study group is access and use of their database. And with the help of my son, I have been able to get those references into my GPS unit with a coded entry which tells me briefly as possible what may be around the corner. Often one can look at a street and you can see the red pillar box in the distance, but often you can't. Tucked round a corner, it may be in the wall. By having this chap, and it will tell me the distance, and we've set it that it will give me an alarm, a little ding-a-ling warning when I approach a post box. Sometimes one can get some hoots and laughs from passing vehicles.
One of our members has a collection of airport sickness bags. Another member collects toothpicks. Another member collects restaurant menus. One of the interesting people we've come across recently, at least is interesting for us, is a man who's collecting milk bottles. He has the largest collection of milk bottles in the world.
Like all collecting, you've got the dealers, you've got the people who collect for monetary advancement, but there are quite a few of us who are quite dedicated milk bottle collectors who collect them for their own sake. I mean, technically, 17,500 milk bottles are not worth anything. They're just glass, the most common thing on the planet. But to me, they're worth millions because they're my pride and joy. As far as I'm aware, I have the largest collection of British milk bottles in the British Isles. My wife is quite happy with my collecting. It ties up well with holidays, trips abroad. We go to places where you wouldn't imagine people would go. Somebody rings me up or I get a tip on there's a dairy closing down or somebody's found a barn with some milk bottles. I'm away. I like the glass and I like the social history. Milk bottles do have a sort of tactile feel to them. This one has got a Union Jack on, and this is just a very nice example where you have the blue and the red, and obviously the milk when it's inside provides the white background. I don't like milk. I think it's baby food, and ever since they brought out what I call blue milk, which is that milk with no fat in it. Have you ever had cornflakes with skimmed milk? It's awful. If I had a choice between 500 cartons and a dirty, rotten milk bottle, I'd have the dirty, rotten milk bottle.
Topics we talk about when dull men get together, airport luggage carousels, for example. We started making notes whether they go clockwise or counterclockwise. An engineer from the Gatwick Airport wrote us and explained why they prefer one direction over the other. The predominant way is counterclockwise, not clockwise. Most people are right-handed, and you've got better leverage to pick up your bag off the rack if it's coming from your left than clockwise from your right. We don't like the word so much anti-clockwise. It infers that we're against clocks. We like clocks. We particularly like clocks twice a year when we get to stay up late and change it at 2 in the morning.
It all started back in around about 1999. I worked for 16 years at Rothwell Colliery, just south of Leeds. My interest in bricks started back in the 1990s. The reason I got into brick collecting, I thought really that it was part of our heritage, industrial heritage, that's gone by the board. And that was one of the main reasons why I decided to salvage and do something with them when I got them. So anyway, when I got them home, by this time I'd picked up maybe about 40 different bricks with different makers, names on. Didn't know what to do with them, so I eventually finished up putting a path down and building a small wall here with the name showing. And it became a bit of an obsession. And so every time we go out now, and 9 times out of 10 I will come back with a brick and it would add to the collection. But any hedgerow, you'd be surprised where they are. They're all over the place. And nobody wants them, except us who collect them. My wife Maureen is a wee bit long-suffering over the brick problem because I put maybe 3 rows of bricks down here. And as I got more and more, I had to extend it. So the thing is, I was taking up part of my wife's lawn. that when I'd put that last line of bricks down, that was it. No more grass taken. So I had to go then to this wall here, which falls down occasionally, and I've lost that part of the battle. The line's definitely drawn.
I love riding escalators. A long ride is enjoyable. You can stand there and relax and not be anxious about getting off for a while. Just stand back there and look at the pictures on each side, the adverts. And a longer ride, the adverts repeat themselves every so often. So if you miss completely reading one at one point, you can just wait till you get a little farther down the escalator and it'll appear again. I quite frankly don't know why people walk on escalators. It's more fun to ride them, in my case anyway. And if you're going to walk, take the stairs. Leave the escalators alone for us people who just enjoy a pure escalator ride. They're doing the job for us, that I don't have to exert myself to go downstairs or go back upstairs. It's a wonderful delegation of work, as far as I'm concerned. It's like I'm just floating down into the subway station. If somebody were to say I were dull, I take it as a compliment, actually.
You can call me dull if you like, but I don't think so.
Certain people in life are attractive to mundane things in life. You have Tracy Emin's unmade bed, the pile of bricks in the Tate Gallery. You've got Van Gogh with just a picture of a chair with his pipe on it.
The modern world is busy, busy, busy. Everything is faster than it ever used to be.
The thing that illustrates it more to us is the mobile phone.
To date, I don't have a mobile phone. Never had one. Don't need one. I don't walk into into telegraph poles. I'm not stuck with something to my ear shouting across the road.
All right, mate. This is one of the fellow roundabout spotters here. He's actually made love on a roundabout. He's what we call a bonking bouter.
They can take videos, they can play music, they can do everything with a simple mobile phone that's about half the size of a brick.
My ex-wife hated the fact that I was a roundabout spotter, and in the end she left me. But I don't mind that, because I can go out now roundabout spotting whenever I want. I don't have any quarrels over that. So that's the positive side of things.
I wouldn't say she enjoys this as much as I do, but as we go around the country following our favourite musical, Blood Brothers, we just love it to bits, over 80 times at the moment. Where we stay, there's invariably a post box or 2 or 3 in New Town, New Village, and she often comes with me while we're watching and looking for post boxes, which we do not do all the time. I have to be fair, it is not all post boxes.
She helps me once every year or so, where we clean every bottle in there. This is dull.
It may sound big-headed, but yes, I do consider myself an artist.
Certain people like myself, who I consider to be an artist, my work goes on people's walls, I'm sort of drawn to the mundane quality of these things.
And if it does look artistic, I suppose it does really, doesn't it?
People often ask us, is this Dull Men's Club, is it a movement? No, it's not a movement. We like to stay put. People also ask us, is the Dull Men's Club one of these 12-step programs? No. 12-step programs try to get people to change their behavior. The Dull Men's Club is a 2-step program. We admit we're dull, and we're going to keep it that way.